What up, YouTube world? This Foster Home Feds and Fighting. Back at it with another story. All right, so we're talking about that foster home. Well, look, that lasted, I think, from from when I was 7 to about 16 years old. And the reason why is because I kept getting in trouble with the law that I ended up becoming ward of the courts instead of ward of the state, which that means that instead of having a social worker, I had a probation officer, and it went all bad because then I started sorting to crimes and all that bad stuff. So, anyways, with that being said, I was thinking about it. I had somebody that I knew that had just recently passed away due to an overdose of some fentanyl. I knew this cat right here for a while, many years. He was someone I whether he was on addiction or not, he was someone that I did know and had a personal relationship with. So I want to give condolences to him and his family. So I want to say, anyone going through addiction right now, like, stay strong because you're worth it. You might not know it, but you got people cheering for you to make it. So don't ever be scared out to cry for help because there's always someone there to help, and that's a fact. You just don't see it yet. Sometimes you got to go through what you're going through to get to where you got to be, and that's just life. So sometimes we take a lot of L's. I've been taking so many L's in life that nothing surprises me anymore. I believe in second chances though, so you know what I mean? It's never too late. Anyways, so look, success is measured on its own to your well-being. Don't ever let someone else measure their success for you. In other words, like, what I'm really trying to say is, like, to me, becoming a black belt in jiu-jitsu, that might mean the whole world. It might make me feel like I am successful, like I made it to the top, right? To someone else that don't understand jiu-jitsu, to them it might just be like, that ain't successful. So don't, it only measures up to you what you perceive it as. And that's why everything I'm doing is successful regardless of the outcome or if anyone else thinks. That's just how I roll. So look, I want to talk about how the feds got me. Now this, I'm really comfortable about talking. I really am comfortable because this is my past. This is what made me who I am to this day. And I'm not even ashamed of that. I had to, like I said, I had to go through what I had to go through, which I'm still going through what I had to go through now. I had two lives, I feel like. I feel like I had before 2016, and then I feel like I have after 2016. This is me now after 2016. Before 2016, nowhere near who I was. That's a fact. I was evil. I felt like when I started doing crimes, right, to finance myself, because mind you, there'll be, I'll let stories know about this, but I had no one out in this world. I lost my older brother to 10 years in prison, so I had no parents. So I'm out here just doing whatever I had to do to survive. At the age of 18, I was all by myself. No one who asked for help. Just I had to make it happen. So eventually I got into doing some bad shit. I got into the game, not the gang. That too, but that's a different story. But the game, the hustlers game. Now this is the feds part when the feds got me. So look, to make a long story short, I got into an altercation with my crew members. He was like a dope fiend type of dude. I give him the benefit of the doubt because he was hated. I felt like we were hated, so why not put a whole bunch of guys that are hated together and we try to strive together and whatnot. But he turned out to be a straight. He couldn't change his ways, and I evolved. I had to due to the fact that I started making a lot of money. And I was doing what I was doing. So anyways, I got into altercation with him. I had to beat him up. Well, I guess he went back and told his woman that we jumped him, which he knew the truth, but he had to tell his girl what he had to tell her. Now, this bro was a crazy girl. So the way it started out was like this. I used to pick up my son from school. I'm from Modesto. He went to Modesto High. So one day, I pulled up. I ain't seen this kid in over, like, let's say after that incident, I ain't seen him in over 7 or 8 years. I mean, I seen him on the West at a store before prior, but he never said nothing. He was scared. He was part of the crew before, so he knew we all carried guns. So I even knew he carried guns. We all just carried guns. That's what we did when you're in my crew. That's just what we did. That was part of life. That was part of your outfit. You put, hey, what you got going on today? I got the little 9 with the little. That was just part of an outfit. This is the truth. This is just the way it was. So I knew he carried guns. He knew I carried guns. But at that day, he wasn't carrying a gun. So, anyways, so like I said, I ain't seen this guy in over 7 years, except some real quick run-ins, just him by himself, me by myself. But like I said, I had no problem with him. I just had to put it down, let him understand that we've evolved, we've changed. We don't want people hating us, we want people loving us. And he kept thinking that it's cool to jack people and do some crazy shit, and it wasn't about that no more, right? So one day I'm picking up my son in front of Modesto High. I'm sitting down in my car, in my truck. Someone pulls up to me, and I had my head down looking on my phone, so I couldn't see because I had tinted windows. But I started hearing from the side like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 you fucking bitch!" And no one talks to me like that. No one, like, where I come from, we don't address ourselves like that at all. That's like fighting words. That's just straight up. Like, no one just walks up like, "Hey, what's up, you bitch?" Because you already know you're gonna get took off on it. It's this problem. It's a fact. I don't. That's just how we rolled. The neighborhood that I'm from, right? So someone was saying that, but I wasn't like, and I kept hearing it, but I was thinking like there must be some arguing on the side of the house or something, right? Because I was really thinking like, I know they ain't talking to me like that. Well, anyways, I looked to my left, I rolled down the window and I looked, and there was old boy's baby's mom, his bitch, his girl, right? So this bro's getting crazy, talking all the smack. Now, mind you, I don't see nobody but her. Oh, boy was in the passenger side, but with the seat all the way back. So you couldn't see him. I only seen her. And then she's over here like yelling some obnoxious stuff, right? Talking smack, right? And I'm thinking, I looked at her and then I focused in. I realized I was her. I told her, man, shut the, you know what I mean? Shut your mouth. Shut the fuck up, right? Get out of here with that bullshit, right? Now she gets out of her car and then she starts getting close to my car. And like I said, we've known this. We've known them. We've known this Bob. She's a crazy psycho ass Bob now, but she got heavily into drugs. You could tell by the way she was looked and the way she was acting. She was all tweaked out, right? She's from Modesto. You know what I'm saying? What do you expect, right? When you're in the neighborhoods. So she's getting close to my car, and I get out of my car, and I tell her, like, bitch, you hit my car, I'm gonna punch your ass out, right? Because she's like a linebacker, though. She's like a man. She's as big as me and wider. Like, straight up, it would have been a fight. She would have fought. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm a good-ass fighter. I'm just saying she would have fought. Men. This bot fights men. So, I told her, but she knew I was crazy, too. So she kind of stopped, but at that moment, I looked, and then from the side, the old boy put his recliner seat up, and I seen him. He's like, "What's up?" And I looked at him, and I was like, "Oh man!" Now I was like, "Fuck you, forget your girl." I seen old boy, and I was like, "Man, what's up?" And then he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I go, "What's up, man?" So then we started meeting in the middle of the street, right? But at that moment, like I said, we still hanging around with each other. So I thought he might have a gun. Well, he was thinking I might have a gun. So what I did, I had a flashlight and I put that in my pocket. And I was like, I have to smack a boy with this, and I'm gonna have to smack him with this. But anyway, so I was walking up, and then he like put his girl to go to the side to go back, and then he started walking forward. We met like in the middle of the street, and I go, "What's up, man?" And then he's like, "What's up?" So then he's like, "What? You strapped up?" And I had a flashlight though. But I go, "Come and find out." But when I looked at him, he pulled out a dagger. It looked like a knife, but this dude kept pulling it out of his pants like a straight dagger. And I was like, damn, this dude got a dagger. But knowing that I was like kind of bluffing, I looked at him and I was like, hey man, like I said, I've known this cat. I known him for at least 8 years. Prior to these 7 years we didn't talk. So he knew my family, I knew his family. Like I said, that's how I knew his girl and I knew his kid and everything, right? Well, I told him, I go, hey, dude, by that time, Modesto High had got out. It was 2 o'clock. High school's got out. I started seeing kids coming, but we're having this altercation going on, and I'm over here seeing kids coming, and I looked at him, I go, hey, look, dude, why don't you let me go pick up my kid, and then I'll meet you anywhere you want to go. He goes, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at his girl, and his girl started bumping her gun. Nah, fuck him, fuck his kids, nah. And then he looked at her, he goes, yeah, he told her, hey, shut up. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, shut up. And he told his body, shut up. But he knew how I was. That's why he knew better. So my son I see my son start walking, and he asked me, what's going on, Dad? I'm on nothing, no chip. Come on, get in. He gets in, boom. We start riding now. I looked at him, and I looked at him, I go, hey, where you want to meet at? I'm at you anywhere you want to meet at. And he's like, oh, let's go. He said to this other neighborhood, and I was thinking like, dude, we're from this other neighborhood. Why would you go over there? And I go, you know what? Just meet me at Mellis Park, right? And then so I took off. I went to where we're from, and I waited up there, and I never seen him, right? He never showed up. Well, anyways, since that day, for some reason, I felt like mind you, I was doing bad. I was selling drugs. So I was doing bad shit, right? Well, I remember I was serving people, and I remember I looked at my review one day when I dropped off some some drugs to one of these people that sell drugs as well. I served him a plug or whatever, right? When I left, the way the street went, it went in a U. So when I left, another vehicle was behind me and I left. Now this is nighttime. Well, I called my boy, the dude I had served. He was one of the homies from the hood, right? He was just getting a double up so he can make his money back, right? Well, he told me, he's like, hey, dude, someone was following you. And I go, are you seen that too, huh? He's like, yeah. He's like, someone's following you. So then I started tripping. I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, man. Now, mind you, I've been in the game for so long, I started getting paranoid in the sense it wasn't even fun no more. Making money, look, man, money don't impress me. I've seen tons of money. I don't even care about it. It's good to have, but it doesn't mean it's everything. Um, so so I started tripping a lot, right? Now I started thinking everybody was a cop or everybody was telling on me, or I just started thinking that way, right? And mind you, we don't do drugs. In my squad, we weren't into that shit. Now, with that being said, I did indulge with the time to time because I got a what is it called? I forgot the name. I'm thinking about it. But so, like I said, I've done drugs, but we didn't do drugs. In other words, that wasn't just the shit we did. You'll figure it out later when I tell the stories on that. But anyway, like I said, so we weren't worried about our money, strictly our money. Let's get our money. Let's put it down. Everyone in my crew had to be strapped up. That's just the way it was. And we were about 3 or 4 deep, right? But we were some savages. Well, anyways, so then I seen that. Now one day before we get raided, I'm laying down and I have my guns on me. And I remember one time the girl I was with, she got up and she seen the guns on the bench. So what the? She started tripping like, what the fuck is that at the house? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was just like, man, we strapped up. She's like, man, get that shit out of here. And I was like, whatever, man. Well, one of my best friends came over, right? And I told him, I go, hey, man, I swear, bro, I feel like I'm being followed, bro. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm being watched. And he told me well, what do you got? And I mind you, at my house that I was at, see, I got too comfortable. I didn't listen to the game. The game says don't ever get too comfortable. Don't get comfortable being comfortable. It goes in all aspects of life, whether you're doing bad or you're doing good. Things can always change. So, like, my friend was like, what do you got? And I told him I was growing bud at my house at this time, so I had about like we had some outdoor, but at this time the outdoor was cracking. So I had a couple pounds already. Like I'm talking about maybe about 20 pounds growing in my backyard. Well, the plants that we were growing, they knock out like 2 pounds. So we're just doing that. I was selling crystal meth. I was selling coke, ecstasy, stuff like that, right? So I just told him I had what I had. He said, well, you can get rid of that. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I go, but I have guns. He told me, he's like, put them down. And I was like, okay. He's like, fire, yeah, put those down. I go, okay. Well, I didn't listen. See, that's where you go with your gut. In every aspects of life, go with your gut. So I didn't listen. Now 3 days later, I would pick up my son, mind you, like I said, I picked up my son from school. On the way that they found me at the school, see, I didn't know that every day when I was parking at the school, it was right across the street from those people. So that's how they ended up seeing who I was because like I said, I've been in the West for all that time, and he never went to the neighborhood no more and all that. So that's how I found out. So mind you, I would always go pick up my kid after school at 2:00, right? Well, at this time I was doing that. I was always not a good father. That's just the facts. So I remember I got up to go do something. I had a little dog with me, right? I jumped in my vehicle. I started going down Paradise. That's one of the main streets down here on the west, right? On the Modesto. And I hear a little blurb blurb. And I looked up. And at first I see a black and white, a regular patrol car. And then I'm like, what the hell? Was I driving wrong or whatever? I know I had everything on. I was legit at this time. I wasn't on probation or nothing, right? So I looked. Then I heard another burp burp, that noise. And I looked up. Now I see the Blue Dragon with the patrol car. So now I'm like, oh, stuff. So I pull over. Then I look up again and I see about 7 more. Now I see 7 undercovers. And then the guy, one of the cars pulls up right on next to my truck. And he looked at me. He comes out, the license and registration. I go, hey, why am I being pulled over for? Because, we all know that now. When you're legit, you ask those questions. Why am I being pulled over for? It's like, man, shut up, bro. Just give me your stuff. But hey, what am I being pulled over for? He goes, Just give me your license and registration. I go, okay. So mind you, I'm looking right, straight on the side is my the thing that you lift up, that you have that little center console, right? So I go to get my center console. Well, when I go to get my center console, I don't know what he was thinking, but the cop goes, stop, please don't move. And I was like, oh shit, you told me to get my ID and my license. It's right here. He goes, well, don't make no move. I'm not. That's right there. So he's like, go slow. So I'm like, oh, snaps. I give it to the dude. He goes, okay. He looked at it. He goes, so he had me there by gunpoint. And then the other cop was on the other side of the door that I was watching too. They went and called him my name or whatnot. They came back. So the cop jumps in my truck, puts me in the cop car, and I'm asking him this while it's going down. So he asked me, so who's at home? I go, nobody. At this time, my girl was living with me. The girl I was with at the time, well, she should have already went to work. Okay, so no one should have been at home. So when I looked, he goes, after I was already in the cop car, and I go, hey, why am I being arrested for? I go, what's this about? He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, who's at your house? I go, nobody. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no one's at the house. He goes, okay. So they drove me they drove me in behind in the Blue Dragon, right? And the cop was in my truck, and he drove my truck all the way to my house. Now, when he drove to my house, mind you, this girl right here had no understanding of what was going on at all, or how deeply involved in what I was doing. So she seen me do some lightweight thug things, but she ain't seen the massive part of the situations I was in, right? So the cop pulls up by my house, like they're all now parked down the street, like about 7 or 8 Blue Dragons patrol cars. Now they have my truck pulls up closer to my house, and then the guy asked me one more time, like, hey, who's at the house? At this time, I see that my girl's car was there still. So I go, I'm all, nobody's, are you sure? I go, nah, you know what? I think my girl's there. He's all, oh, so there's someone there? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay. He's all, well, okay. So now I'm sitting in the cop car and I'm looking, and they do the raid. They have like 6 cops on one side, 6 cops on the other side. They get the, what is it called? The battering ram. They're all ready, right? And I'm watching this. And they knock on the door. And I heard them say, some police department, right? And then they knock again. She barely opens the door, and they grab her and they just throw her down. Bam! Next thing you know, they just hit my house. And I was like, oh, snaps, right? Mind you, that cop comes back. He goes, I go, what am I being in trouble? What's this about, dude? And then he goes, where the weapons at? And mind you, at the whole time, I'm thinking, like, what is this for? Like, is someone telling on me for drug dealing and stuff? Like, finally caught up to me or whatnot? And then he goes, right when he said, where the gun's at, right when he said that, I knew old boy told. I knew old boy and his girl told on me. I knew it. So I was like, what? He goes, where the gun's at? I go, what guns? He goes, look, man, we know there's guns in here. If you don't tell us, if you tell us right now, then we'll just get those and leave. If not, we're gonna go through the whole house. I go, I don't know what you're talking about. We have no guns, so I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, okay. So mind you, they started hitting it. They were hitting my house. I knew it was all bad when I was sitting down. They grabbed my girl at the moment, right? They grabbed her and put her in a cop car. She's crying. But they didn't take her cell phone, so she had her cell phone on there. Now this raid's going on for a while. It's going on for a while. I'm talking about a while. You know how cops do it? They go there. It's a while, at least like 3 or 4 hours. This shit's going down, right? I knew it was all bad when I was sitting down there, and I looked, and I just finished cropping. So I had about 20 pounds of weed that I just cropped, but I just needed to trim it up. I had right on the counter, I had left a whole bunch of drugs. I left money on the side, so I kind of was thinking, like, damn. I'm talking about, like, I left it just out there, like, just careless, just like I ruled the world type of thing, just careless though. Man, I knew it was all bad when I was sitting down there. They put a girl in the other cop car, not with me, but another cop car. And then I seen a whole bunch of cops coming out with big old black garbage bags. Now that was my bud that I had in the closet. And I was thinking, like, damn, they found the bud. But I wasn't tripping. I was like, man, that's just weed, whatever. I could just say my medicinal purposes, right? Nah, next thing I know, they're still raiding. By now, I know for a fact they found all the drugs. Like, I knew it. Like, how you not? They're right there. Just kind of like, just how those awards are right there. They were right there. So whenever you walked in, you would have seen them on the on my bathroom table, on my bathroom yeah, counter, right? The master bedroom. So that's where they're at. So they're rating, they're rating, they're rating. Next thing I know, it was hours, right? Next thing I know, I see the mother of my son. She pulls up, and I'm looking like, what the hell? What is she doing here? And then she walked by the cop car and she tried to ask the cop, hey, what's going on? They're like, hey, who are you? She's like, hey, I'm the mother of this guy's son. What's going on? And then they're like, oh, stand back. Where the kid at? So she, while she's trying to find out information, right? Like I said, now I was already past the time to pick up my kid from school, right? It's been hours, so it's already like, they say he gets out at 2. It's about 4 o'clock, right? I looked and I see my son walking, so he's watching it all go down. I know. I feel ashamed. I ain't gonna lie. I felt ashamed. I felt like my son knew that I was a bad guy. He knew it. Like from the things that he knew, I got into some shit. Like I got into some shit. I got into shootouts and all that. And he. So I know. I felt a little like ashamed. You know what I mean? Like my son's watching his dad do this shit, and it's not cool. I thought it was cool then, but I swear, as an adult, that shit was the stupidest shit. It was the most embarrassing thing to do in front of my kid and all that, man. But look, anyways, that's another story. So yeah, so now mind you, I'm thinking like, how did my baby's mom come up here, right? Because my son used to come to my house after school. But I would just want to pick him up, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have to walk, right? Well, it turned out that later on I found this out that when they got my girl and they put her in the car, they didn't have her phone. Well, she had called my baby's mom and told them that shit was going down. It's like, it's going down. It's like, damn, she's off for reals, and my baby's mom's ghetto, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, but she's still ghetto. So she's that type of person to pull up and to be like, where the tea at? I want to know what's going on. Ooh, ooh. You know what I'm saying? She fights for her people at times. Um, so I'm kind of like I'm starting to see them now. They lift up my car garage. Now in my car that's in the garage, that's where the guns are at. They're in a baby bag in the trunk by my speakers in the back, right? So when they lifted up the garage, I was like, oh snaps. Now mind you, they lifted up the garage and it was still like an hour that they weren't finding shit, right? So I'm kind of like, man, I'm already knowing that I messed up. I'm screwed because of all those bags they brought. So I knew I'm screwed. I knew I had got sales before, so I already knew this is gonna be a prior, and I started thinking, oh man, I'm done. I was thinking like, man, I'm done, man. Damn, right? But I remember I seen the cops grab the baby bag and put it on top of the car, the one in the garage, and I knew. That's when I knew it was over. The cop walks up to me. First, he goes to my girlfriend in the car that she was in. She asks some question, woo woo. She's crying, sobbing. It is what it is. The cop comes up to me and goes, Mr. Martinez, whose guns are those? And I said, what guns? He goes, so you don't know that there's guns in that car right there? What car? And then he goes, that car right there. In the trunk, there's a baby bag with guns in there. Whose guns are those? I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, you don't know what I'm talking about? He goes, no. He's like, okay, well, you know what? The girl said that she don't know anything about those. And I already knew at that moment where they were getting at. I already knew. I'm from the streets. I'm a street guy. I know this. I know the way shit works. I know the way it is. Now, mind you, the gang unit's been trying to get me for at least over 10 years. They've been trying to get me, but I've always had one up on them. I'm going to say this real quick, like on a pause on this moment. So once you enter the dope game where you're a hustler, understand this. The other people that hate on you, other gangs or just individual haters, that comes with the territory. Your real opposition are the police. Now, I already knew that from way back then. I already knew those are the bad guys. Those who were against. That's who I'm against. They're the good guys with the bad guys. That's who I'm against. Everyone else is cool. They're just the haters that come with the territory. But I knew in my mind it wasn't always like F the police. I don't care. There's good people and bad people in any profession. The reason why I already done known this because I used to think like, man, look, it's only because I'm against the cops the way I think like this, but it's not really like this. Because if someone kidnapped my kid, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm not that gangster where I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna call the cops. I'll find them myself. No, you won't. No, you won't. No one will do that. No, if you're no matter who, what kingpin or hardcore gangster there is, if they get the kid kidnapped, street people, they're gonna call the cops to get help. I'm not talking about cartel people. They do the kidnapping stuff in Mexico on their own tip. That's something different. I don't know about all that, but I just know how it is in America. So I already knew I'm against the cops. I'm not against anyone else. All the metal haters, they just come with the territory. So it is what it is. So, so mind you, like I said, when the cop told me, well, she said they ain't hers, and you're saying they're not yours. So you know what's gonna happen, right? And I already knew when the cop said that exactly what he meant. That dude said, that dude, I knew exactly what he meant by that. So I told him, I go, wait a minute, the guns in that car right there? He goes, yeah. I go, oh yeah, oh those are my guns. He goes, no, don't admit to him if they're not your guns. I go, no, those guns, that's my car. That car's registered under my name. Those are my guns. He goes, are you sure? I'm like, look, man, I already know what you're going to do. You're going to try to put them on both of us, take her to jail for them. She has nothing to do with it. I did it. Those are my guns. He's like, okay, all right. And then I go, look, man, a real street dude, I'm not no sucker. I'm not goofy. And if I do a crime and I get caught for the crime, give me the time. I'll do it. Fuck it. That's the part of the game, dude. It's part of the game. So I told him, hey, mine. He goes, okay. Now mind you, they took all them drugs, they took the guns, they took me to jail, and then to top it off, they took her to jail. They took her to jail because she had some kind of patch that I had asked her to get for me because my son had back problems due to the fact that he was a football player, like a little football star type person. So back would be hurting from playing football. So I asked her to get me that. She got me that. And I guess at that moment that they said that it was illegal. It wasn't illegal, but they were just doing that because that's how much hate they had for me that they wanted to get everybody that was at least in my household. And next thing you know, they send me off to jail. I get booked for sales, possession of sales, narcotics, and for weapons, and a weapons charge. And that's it right now. But that ain't even how the part where the feds come in. That'll be the next little part on part 2. Anyways, look, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all put each other up. Don't knock each other down. Situations can always change. Stay positive. Stay blessed. This is the reason why jiu-jitsu saved my life. Because I stick to these. I stick to this. Don't ever go back when you get a second chance. Don't ever go back to doing bad. Stick to what's good because good is always going to outweigh the bad. So with that being said, there's going to be a little part 2 to this one. And this one, the feds got me.